Rivers Comic Con was special for another reason, and that was that I got to table with a friend of mine that I hadn't been able to share a table with yet. They're a cartoonist named Kelsey Crawford. They're a lot of fun. You can check out their work at KELCIDCRAWFORD.com. They're another local cartoonist. We met because we both, during my con season last year, we kept being at the same cons nearby, even when we weren't, even when it was a con that nobody had heard of. Like, we were both at Put and Play Con, which is a one-time con. I talked about it in a previous video, but it's kind of very few people were there. I don't think the con's going to happen again. Is this one of the other ones I can use? Sorry. Nope. Well, that's not what I meant to do. Close the wrong one. Okay. Sorry about this. I'm going to have to reopen a lot of stuff. But yeah, so we just happened to be at this incredibly small and kind of, if I'm being honest, pretty dysfunctional con. We had a blast because we were all able to just hang out because we weren't exactly getting a ton of sales. But it was, and we've been in contact ever since. Like, I bounce ideas off of them. So Kelsey has been tabling for about 5-6 years now. So is several years closer to what I want to be doing than I am currently. They're great for bouncing stuff off of. Let me take a quick look here. Will this one work? Yes, this one should work. Okay, so I mentioned that I cheat a little bit, and you're going to see that in a couple seconds. So the cheat I use is I don't like redrawing my tables every time. So my solution is a little bit of very careful cutting and pasting. All right, that's what I'm going for. I specifically want pink background inks. Yes. There we go. He's a madman. Oh, change to black. Full opacity. I'm just going to quickly. That's too thick. This needs to go into here, and I will enlarge it to fit in the placeholder stuff that I put in there before. That should be perfect. Cool. Another quick thing I have to do. Make little boxes. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Kelsey. So Kelsey and I finally got to table together at Three Rivers Comic Con. we've been talking about doing it for a while. Kelsey shares tables a lot. I just realized I'm using the wrong tool for all this. No wonder something looked off. This was that whole mechanical pencil thing I mentioned. There we go. But yeah, they and I have been talking about tabling together for a while. Kelsey tables with other people a lot, which is a common thing that uh, tablers do for a number of reasons. You get to share the expenses associated with tabling, which, in addition to the table fees, which are often pretty expensive, they'll end up lodging together. They'll end up doing, travel. Sometimes they'll help each other with commuting. How's that look? Yeah, it'll work. And also, you're not kind of stuck with your table uh, the entire convention. You can get up, you can walk around, you can go to the bathroom. You don't have to just like close your table every single time you do it. Also, if you're like me and an introvert, it can be very, very tiring being at a table. You can go into overwhelm really easily. And having somebody else means that when you go into overwhelm, you can walk away for a little bit and then come back and you're in a much better position. Ah. But yeah, that was actually the first time in since coming to Columbus that I'd shared a table with someone, and it turned out I kind of needed it. Um, it can help having someone else to share the burden, to share the stress, and whenever you need to like recoup, it can really be psychologically beneficial. When I've had the experience that when I table solo, which I do enjoy, but there'll at least be one period where I have a bad case of imposter syndrome hit me, where I'm like, I'm this is proof I'm a failure, and like all that kind of stuff that goes through artists' heads uh, quite a bit. Imposter syndrome is incredibly common among artists, and it's one of the things that uh, we have to keep an eye out for, as it's very detrimental to our work. I cannot get this line right. It takes so little for us to convince ourselves that what we're doing is worthless. It's one of the big reasons that we say if you're going to do this kind of thing, you have to want it for yourself more than anybody else. You have to want to do this because even the people who make it often feel like pretenders to the throne, often feel like someone's going to notice at some point that I don't actually know what I'm doing. And the secret is nobody knows what they're doing. Just some people are able to stick with it and get lucky enough, and others stick with it and are not able to succeed but are satisfied anyway. And the trick is to recognize that both are distinct possibilities and both are completely natural things to feel. Uh, but yeah, I have been getting increasingly down on myself for what's been happening with my cons lately because I've been not having as much success as I would like. I had a recent con, Space, which is a con that, given the chance, I'm going to probably do every year because it's a Columbus con. It's uh, so it's local to me. Make erase. Below the table. There we go. It is great for indie people just because all the indie people in Columbus get to hang out. But due to, in large part, low turnout, sales were honestly pretty bad for me. Now, there are a few factors to this. It had the misfortune of being the same weekend as several other cons in the immediate area, which seriously cut down on attendance. And I'm actually going to be talking to the guy who runs it, Bob Corby, great guy, and seeing if I can help out with it. Try to get word out a little bit better. But after that con, I was feeling pretty defeated, and I've noticed that I've been feeling defeated after a lot of cons. Because it's frustrating when you put a lot of work in and you make $50, if that. I've had cons where I think the worst I've done. I'm not going to name the con because I think it was just my bad luck. But I drove 2 hours to get to the con, and my mouth is too thick. There we go. And I ended up at the very end selling one of my $25 books for $13. That was my entire day. That was it. And that is exhausting when there's no one to share that burden with. So tabling with somebody else, if you're both having a bad day, it can help a little bit. Or if you start to feel yourself flagging like that, just because I've also noticed that sometimes when I'm starting to feel that way, it means I need to step away from the table. I need to, take a breather, go to the bathroom, do something. I spent part of, I believe it was ZenkaiCon, when I started feeling this way. I'm like, I think I'm overloaded on people. Let me go to the bathroom. And I just sat in the stall for 5 minutes and looked at my phone. When I came back out, I was selling again because I wasn't in this spiral. I wasn't completely burnt out anymore because I'd had a chance to recuperate. And when there's someone else who can take on the sales burden for just a little bit, you can do that without ever leaving the table. One of the tricks that Abe and Angela do whenever they tabled, at least I never got to see them do this, but they used to talk about this, is they would have Abe do the selling. Abe's not a cartoonist, but he was there to bring people into the table. He was sort of the barker. And Angela would be at the table drawing, and when they got into the table, that's when she would engage them. And that was a good little 1-2 punch. Panel 1 done. Time for another copy paste. Part of the reason I do this copy pasting is it is a royal pain to redraw those grids. I actually use grids like that, and I'm thinking about getting rid of them because I hate them. They're very commonly used by tablers. It's just they are not very good. They weigh a lot. They're a pain to set up. It's doable, but they're just heavy. Let me get this moved to the right spot. And delete mask. Enlarge this sucker. Yeah, that'll be good. Erase. Actually, just do a lazy. Not gonna. That'll be fine. Cool. I'm actually going to turn down opacity on this while I work. And you'll see why in a second. Wait, did I? Ooh, that's a problem. How lazy do I feel? This lazy. I'm going to do a little trick. Watch this. Hey, that worked. Cool. Continuity error averted. Let me fill in right here. And no one will notice the difference. Haha. Draw smarter, not harder. Anyway, let's keep the good times rolling. Character inks. I need to bring up another strip that has Mike in it. Here we go. Just don't remember. I did give him a butt chin. I'd forgotten about that. His head's also wider than I drew it. That's fine. I will fix it on the fly, like a magician. There we go. A little bit wider. How's that chin? Oh, that chin does need to be reduced a little bit. The chin is not wider. There we go. I don't draw Mike often, so I did need to think about it a little bit. So Mike was actually in a very, very early strip and then disappeared for a while, just because I didn't have any jokes about him. It's one of the things that'll happen. Like the core cast shows up a lot, because that's why they're the core cast, because there's a lot of stories I have about them. But that was weird. Let's go from here. I always wanted to have a staffer, because the staffers at cons are kind of the unsung heroes a lot of the time. A lot of people don't realize that cons are mostly volunteer run, which means that the people who are helping to organize everything, putting everything together, a lot of them not getting paid a dime. And very often it's tough, it's thankless, and they're the butt end of a lot of jokes or a lot of harassment, a lot of stuff. Like when you're, let's see, there we go. That's how you do a thumb. Good to know. That's an angle I haven't really drawn much of, or very well when I have drawn it. So I wanted to have someone who had to deal with just some of the craziness that happens when you're working at a convention. In many ways, it's something that tablers and staffers have in common. Tablers are there to enjoy the con on some level, but they're also there to work. And a lot of times people do not entirely understand this, which I get. For most people, when they go to a con, they're on vacation. And it's easy to forget that the people who are behind a table at a con are there to work. But those people working are making money. These con staffers get to go to the con for free, and that's about it. And they're working at the con most of the time. So, in many ways, it's the one job that's, I'd say, harder than being a tabler. Let's give him. There we go. Yeah. I don't actually wear shorts, so it's a little weird for me drawing them. I wear long pants all the time. I know, I'm weird that way. I want that head to be a little bit. Nope. Perfect. Yeah. Right now, in fact, just to show off, got on I call these comic pans. Whoop! That's embarrassing. Just basically Jimmy's with pow, zap, crash, all that crazy stuff on it. Because if I'm going to be live streaming, I'm going to be comfy. All right. Oh, I'm in the wrong window. Here we go. Nope. Yeah, it's the right thickness. And good. And good. Yeah, one of the things that's always amazing to me is when how much the staff can make a con. I mentioned Three Rivers Comic Con, and the biggest thing they've got going for them is that they are run incredibly well. Their staff takes care of the tablers, tablers take care of the staff. It is a great little harmonious thing. Out of 10, I'd rate that con this past year an 8. And I very rarely give scores that high on anything. I'm one of those guys who doesn't like to give out 10s and 1s. I think those are, if you get that, you're the best con ever. So 8 is a very good score. Yeah. There's another con that unfortunately this year I had to miss. I did it the year before, called Rathacon. It conflicted with space. And to be frank, as a Columbus cartoonist, I feel like I pretty much have to go to space because it's the big local con. At least, if I can get in. And I enjoy space. I want to go to space whenever I can. But yeah, I was disappointed that I was not able to do both these cons. And one of the big things is I didn't do great at Rathacon, but the staff is fantastic. Rathacon, by the way, I don't think I have their, yeah, I don't have their URL handy, but I think it's the Rathacon, so RATHA .com. I do recommend, you might just want to Google them. It might be the easiest way to find the correct address. I think I got it right, but it would be worth checking. And yep, I think that looks good. Create a mask and erase. Big eraser. Yes. Whoa! I did the mask on the wrong layer. There we go. I'm getting rid of all this. I get everything? Now I did. Mostly. All right. That is 2 panels done. Now here's one that's going to be interesting. Because I did kind of an angle here. And I don't think I have a strip that is equivalent to this angle. So what I'm debating on what I'm going to do. Let's start by going here, copying these backgrounds, pasting them here, moving them down. Bam. Ooh, it's a little bit of lag. That's surprising. My computer is pretty fast, so it should not be having too much lag issues. To be fair, I am doing multiple things at once. I'm streaming and I'm running high intensity art programs. But usually it handles them pretty well. A little larger. How lazy do I want to be? It is my 100th strip. I should be a little bit less lazy than normal, right? That part of the idea? Erase this section over here. This section over here. Stretch that way. I feel bad that I'm showing off how I cheat. Like, I was very hesitant about revealing these particular secrets because it makes me look very lazy. And I mean, I kind of am. Like, it's not wrong, but it's also a situation where redrawing these every single time would be a colossal headache. That'll work. You just erase and erase. Let's see, did I? 1, 2, okay, there's the one little one up here. That is yeah, there we go. Okay, well, that looks better. Let's do, oh. Erase. Let's do that. I need to keep cleaning up. There we go. we go. I'm going to leave that like that, but these should be able to just tweak like that. Cool. And that will do. Oh, so much cheat. So much cheat everywhere. So the next couple of weeks are going to be dedicated to CosPain. I guess a couple of weeks. No, it's going to be about one more week. Gotta add a little bit to this table just so it looks like a real table. That barely made lines. It's weird. There we go. Part of how I was able to do one of my other projects, which I'll talk about in a bit, was the fact that I had a big backlog of CosPain strips. And that backlog is officially out. This strip goes up for my patrons on Tuesday. So it is cutting it kind of fine getting it done now. The reason I did this was I'd been working on another project and I pretty much just had to focus and keep it going. The other strip, the one that went up this past week, I actually just finished a couple days ago. Or let me phrase it, a couple days before it was due. And I had started it as part of a panel that I was doing at Space. I was thinking about posting the panel, but I honestly haven't had time to go over it properly, and there's some audio issues that I would need to fix before it could get posted. But the panel is basically this, what I'm doing right now, drawing and talking, and in that case, talking to people, which really can help. Like right now, I'm talking into the void, which is how most of these kind of end up going. I'm going to move these pencils because as it turns out, they are not well placed. Ooh, I thought I clicked on the pencils. There we go. There we go. Shrink it a little bit. Let's do it like that. Up. That'll be perfect since I'm just doing outlines for them. But yeah, I'm going to be spending the next week or so setting up a backlog. Ideally, I need to be covered for the next couple of months. So it'll be a lot of work, and this is sort of the start to that. Bump for the ear, in. But let's get rid of the break between it. I just want the lenses to be the only thing we actually make out. And nope, I don't want the hat. Don't want the hat. Besides that little lip. Let's have the glasses. My current goal with live streams is to do them once a month and or every 5 strips. So while I'm doing backlogs, I may do more of these live streams and have the replays happen a little bit less frequently. That should be good. I'm just doing outlines for them. And I did all that on the penciling layer, didn't I? Yep, that is a screw up. That is a big, big mistake. Let me fix that. Uh, this should be fine. Bam. Yeah, that'll work. There's a little bit of difference there that is not going to be obvious. I'm not doing background here, I'm just doing the characters. Let's go with 25. All right. So we are about an hour in, and I kind of consider finishing the inks as the halfway mark. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to pause the stream right after this and just take a little breather and then come back rejuvenated, refreshed, and with more to drink. And then ready to do the coloring. I do need to refresh because coloring, as I mentioned in some of the previous stages, is kind of one of the more tedious steps. For me, anyway. There's some people who really make the coloring process an art, and I respect those people immensely because it's one of the greatest pains for me. I really like doing black and white comics sometimes, and that can really help because I don't have to do that other part. Man, I am not as talkative today. It's been a little bit of a slow stream, but that is all right. I will pick it up in the second half. Whoop. Go. Go. Glasses. Nose. Glasses. This is also what I get for not having done a stream for about 2 months. That kind of break is not likely to happen again. It was just that I was working on a tight deadline, and on top of that, I thought I'd be posting that space video that I mentioned, and it just did not end up being doable at that time. Move. So when I drew this, Abe wears orange. What's the word? Fleece, not the big puffy jackets. But when I drew him in that jacket, he's like, I need to get a puffy jacket because that actually looks pretty good. Ah. Erase a tiny bit. All right. Before I officially start the break, I'll let you in on a little bit of behind the scenes magic. Here are the finished inks, by the way. Yep, that looks pretty good. Save. Now I export this as a TIFF, which is a an image file that is primarily used by artists, as far as I can tell. Like, you can't upload it onto a website or anything like that. It's basically for art files. Oh, this is exciting! 100. Oh, that feels good. And I'm going to save it using a color thing called duotone threshold. Thresholding means that it's going to have nothing but black and white pixels, no gray whatsoever. So this is going to give me the sharpest possible image. And I will be using that in Photoshop to color. And now you know a little bit of my process. See if I zoom in here, close as I can get. There is no gray along the edges. You sometimes see that. It's called anti-aliasing. I try to avoid it anyway, but it's good to make sure when you export this file. All right, and with that, I will be taking a short break. I will be back in about 15 minutes, so we'll start back up at 2:30. See you then.